Hello. My name is Jay Carter. And for some reason, I'm trying this thing where I talk to you guys and I tell you about things I do. I am a dungeon master. I am a writer. I am a painter. I am an artist. I do lots of stuff. And I enjoy doing all of that stuff. And I feel like other people might enjoy listening to me talk about the stuff that I do. This is the first time I've ever done a live video through YouTube. So if this looks weird or sounds weird, maybe somebody in chat will let me know, and maybe they can help me. I'm going to try a couple of things right now because I want to see what YouTube Live can do. This so far is showing me that I'm coming with sound. That's good. Let's see what that button does. Ooh, it says I can share the link. Interesting. Okay. I have 0 people watching. That's not surprising. Hopefully this will be archived so that people can watch it afterward. I also have 0 people liking, which stands to reason because 0 people watching. So, okay, well, let me tell you a little bit about some of the stuff that I'm doing right now. I'm quite excited because I have been compiling a list of all of the... Yes?
I'm making garlic toast.
Oh, sounds great. I'll have some in a moment.
Okay.
I'll get back. That was my wife, Andrea. I probably should have told her that I was recording. I'm apparently not very savvy about all this stuff. Anyways, but I'm a dungeon master. I do stuff. I run games. I've been compiling a list of all of the different magic user subclasses and archetypes that I enjoy from 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm come up with sort of character profiles for each of them. I recently took all of the miniatures that I have that could potentially represent magic users, and I attached them to these profiles, and I'm going through. I created a spreadsheet. I should tell you this. I created a spreadsheet that randomly generates characters based on, class, race, archetype, who they worship, and a couple of other details, and it pops out a character for you. You can specify level, other things like that. Anyway, so like, who would that be, for example? Like, here's just a good old-fashioned Thri-Kreen mantis person. And in my world, Athanasia, that I've created, some of you may have heard me talking about it, or may have heard my other streams on Facebook. Everybody in Athanasia is either human or an animal hybrid of some kind. And so this, totally reasonable in my world. And, holding a staff, maybe that's a magic user of some variety. And I thought, okay, well, what about an Alteration Mage? Oh, I should also tell you that in addition to using 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons rules, I'm also basing a lot of my sort of in-world magic concepts on Spheres of Power, which is a supplement created by Drop Dead Studios. I actually won a contest several years ago where I wrote up what Athanasia would be like in my campaign setting using the Spheres of Power rules for Pathfinder. And recently I backed the Kickstarter that Drop Dead Studios is running to introduce Spheres of Power into 5th edition. So I'm excited about that. But magic then falls into the 20 spheres, and this might be an Alteration Mage. Right? Maybe somebody who decided that they wanted to alter themselves in ways that would augment their abilities physically or mentally, or whatever the case may be. And or maybe it's just a mantis person. Maybe it's just a person who is a mantis who is a wizard. That sounds fun. Anyway, something like that. Or here's a dude. I painted him up to look, obviously this is sort of reminiscent of Gandalf or Elminster, or, whoever you will, but holding a scroll in their hand, and there's a little like red X down there. Maybe this is a Conjuration Mage. Maybe this is somebody that, goes around, meets interesting and powerful creatures, and has them sign contracts so that he can call upon them when he needs them. The lighting in here is not ideal, but you know what? I'm kind of, it is what it is. This is my first try. Be gentle. So maybe Gandalf there, or Elminster, or whoever, is a conjuration mage. Maybe they're going around getting powerful creatures to sign contracts. Who knows? Might be cool. I've got this one, obviously had a book, Creation Mage, whatever. Anyway, so I'm going through and I'm doing stuff like that. If I had a way to share my screen, I would definitely show you what I've been working on. But it's a spreadsheet, like I always do. I love the spreadsheets. And the spreadsheets are they help me to show what kind of details this person might have. So like the Alteration Mage, I'm going to switch over to it just so I can read off of it a little bit. It's hard to come up with all this off the top of my head. So the Thrive Queen, let's say the Mantis person is a wizard transmutation archetype, right? So they'll be taking the 5th edition transmutation archetype for wizard, sage background. And this is just the very brief description I have for Alteration Mages in general. Sanctioned by the Wizards Tribunal, the Alteration Guild offers personal transformation and preventative safety services to settled areas. And then a little bit more information about that. Alteration Mages use the Minor Alchemy and Minor Transformation, or Master Transmuter, to transform objects. They use the Transmuter Stone and Shape Changer to change themselves partly or entirely into beasts. The pinnacle of their pursuit to transform and perfect the mortal body, high-level Alteration Mages have learned how to create a Philosopher's Stone, Master Transmuter, that grants one immortality, eternal youth, and immunity to sickness. So that's all just sort of a summary of what Alteration Mages are and how they sort of relate to the world. So then this Alteration Mage might be altering themselves or other people. This is sort of in a world where the higher urbanized areas would be using magic in a sense to replace technology from where we would use technology. So they have, actual like horse carriages without horses that are being moved by magic. So they have horseless carriages, but they're not cars, they're carriages. Alteration Mages in that kind of an environment might go around, giving people claws, or might transmute someone to have an additional pair of arms. Maybe they're a blacksmith and they just don't have enough arms. And so they're like, hey, can you help me out here? And, it's like a service that they provide or whatever. Anyway, so like other stuff like that, I think that kind of thing is interesting. And I have a ton of minis, and I could go through and just show off all of them. I've got another bucket right here that I'm working on, and I have a third one. These tackle boxes are super helpful, by the way. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about using tackle boxes for minis, but these are really great. I just loaded up all of my minis into these tackle boxes like a couple of days ago, and I thought I wouldn't have enough room, so I actually took, this is the box that Terry and Darren and the other characters, Pumat Sol and his clones, came in when I backed the Critical Role Kickstarter and got the minis. And so I pulled out the insert and I replaced it with a little construction of my own doing so that I can now use that same way I could use the tackle boxes. So I just made this out of paper and put it together. This is just inserted into the box. And there's like, you can see I've folded the pieces of paper so it has little ridges. And then I've gone through and attached the other pieces like that. So it's the same function. Boom. More room. Anyway, so I do stuff like that. I make things. I painted a lot of those minis. I didn't paint the Thrive Queen here, but I did paint our Conjuration Mage and the Creation Mage. This is, I feel like, not something, this paint job itself is not super great, but so I enjoy doing stuff like that. So I come up with ideas. I plan things out for my games. a lot of my projects are really massive and widespread, so I use spreadsheets to organize all my thoughts. But if you guys feel like this is interesting and something you might want to watch again sometime, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think, if any of it has sounded interesting. What, if anything, sounds the most interesting, and things that I could talk more about. Anyway, I'm going to stop now. It's about 10 minutes, and I hear that's a pretty good length. So again, Jay Carter, 5th edition DM, Tales of Athanasia on Facebook if you're looking for it. And we'll see you again sometime soon, I guess. Bye.